All right, all right, all right. We are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in today again. I am Dina Paoloni. I am your co-host today with the amazing Kimberly Maurer. Hello, Kimberly. How are you?
I'm good, honey. Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Today is Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not I'm not a huge football fan, but I do try to usually tune into the Super Bowl, especially to watch the halftime show. So it should be good this year. It should be good. I can't believe it's the 60th Super Bowl. Can you believe that?
Yeah, well, I'm in UK. Oh, sorry. I'm in UK, so we have a different things, but no, I don't really know because I'm not really follow football and this kind of
Follow
thing.
the sports. Yeah, yeah.
But I know
So
that it's a huge thing. Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think. I think most people, most women probably like me, turn into the amazing halftime shows. So it's always
Oh,
the latest pop artists, and it's always a good time. It's always a good time watching that.
that's good. That's good.
So I wanted to just take a minute and thank everybody who reached out recently on my post in regards to my mom. She's been going through a rough time, and she's been admitted, discharged, admitted, back and forth, and no real answers as of yet. But I just wanted to thank everybody for all your love and support and all your prayers. It means more than I can say. So thank you, thank you.
And I thank you for show up today anyway. I ask
Of
if you want to
course.
do it. It's really it represents a lot. Your commitment, your willingness to share your voice and other people's voice, and also I love the post because it really reflects, the fact that you are a nurse, you understand what is going on. You didn't really point the finger to anyone because you know the professional side as a nurses, what they've gone through in very stretched shift, and the part as a patient and the part as a family member. So I'm sending you my love, and but I wanted also to say that that was so beautiful in itself because it represents the pain that all the part are suffering because of this very stretched healthcare system that we go now. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
it's thank you for saying that. And good morning, Patricia. Patricia's joining us from Kuwait. Love you. Thank
Oh,
you for your love.
wow.
Thank you for
Love.
your love. Also on my post, I appreciate you. I read her message this morning. Um, but it is so hard, So many of us have been the patient, and we've been the nurse. We've been on both sides of it. But it takes a whole new dynamic when it's your family member, and especially when you can't be there and you're so far away, and
Yeah.
you're trying to help them navigate the system from afar. And the nurses that she's had have been amazing. I am very, very proud of them. And she is at the health system where I worked over 21 years. So I know she's in good hands. I do. And shout out to Henry Ford Health System in Jackson, Michigan. So thank you for taking care of my mom. Good morning, Victoria. Good afternoon, I should say. It's so weird with all these different time zones. I never know what to say. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But this is very beautiful, though. I think it's the cool thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mark Carter is our guest today, and I know that he's been having some issues with technology lately. So, I'm sure that he will arrive. But if he does not arrive, you and I can kill it like we always do. So,
Yeah,
you
of
want to roll
course.
that fabulous disclaimer? Let's start with the disclaimer.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we are streaming from LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you're watching the recording also from YouTube, please leave us a comment, share it, subscribe. And if you watching from any of these platforms, if you want to be recognized on the screen, please give permission to the social media that you are using and to be able to share your name and surname. If you will stay Anonymous, we are happy as well. What we really want is to participate to our conversation, to share your comment, your thoughts. If you have a question, and please challenge us as well, because we really want to be challenged. We want to have this kind of conversation to bring all the collective voice of nursing together, because we really need to improve the system, because we are really living on healthcare industry crisis. It's not just and a matter of numbers. We are really stretched in our workforce, but it's also so many changes happening now: AI, climate change, the shifting in the generation. So there's so much demand at the moment. We are really so much stretched. So we really need to improve to be able to provide care, the best care, to our family, our patients, our new generation that will come. So please challenging us and share your thoughts. Today we are myself and Kimberly. Our guest is Mark Carter, which is an amazing nurse and leader from Australia. We know that he has some problems, so please, we're going to chat a little bit while we're waiting for him. We're sure he will come.
He
Yes.
just messaged me. He's having trouble getting in, so
Yeah.
he should be coming soon. He should be coming soon.
We are patient, very patient.
Oh, that fabulous disclaimer.
Hi, Dr. Niempu. Blessed Sunday to you as well. Thank you. So we're going with our disclaimer and then we start. Please, if you have any question or things that you want to start with while we're waiting, Mark, we do it. But first, disclaimer.
Disclaimer: the Hierarchy Betrayal podcast. Warning: unfiltered, unscripted, unapologetic. This podcast is brought to you by two nurses who've had enough of the BS. We're talking about the real healthcare system, the one that exploits nurses, commodifies patients, and protects profit over people. What to expect? Zero scripts, just raw, honest conversation. F-bombs, probably more than a few. We're passionate, not polished. Uncomfortable truths. If you're a manager who's complicit in the hierarchy betrayal, this content may cause discomfort, embarrassment, or a sudden urge to defend the indefensible. Not suitable for sensitive managers allergic to accountability, anyone invested in maintaining the status quo, those who prefer their healthcare conversations sanitized and corporate approved. Suitable for nurses tired of being used and abused, healthcare workers ready to call out the mafia, anyone who believes patients deserve better than a system designed for profit. If you're here, you're ready for the truth. Welcome to the Hierarchy Betrayal.
Welcome.
Love it. I love that disclaimer every single time.
I know, me too. And we got some more comments. Hello.
Nice. Oh, it's Anisha. I love her. She's one of my biggest fans. I'm one of her biggest fans. I just love her. And she's always in the comments. And I'm not sure. James Dillon. Looks like James Dillon is kind of joining us from YouTube. Nice. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hello. Jesus.
It's okay, Mark. It happens. It wouldn't be a podcast if there was not a technical difficulty. So.
Oh my God. No, it's late at night, but Jesus, I'm there swearing at the screen and losing my bloody mind.
Listen, we're streaming from Australia, where Mark is, Florida, where Kimberly is, and UK, where I am in. So I think that is fine. Have some technical problems.
Yeah, just there's probably a koala on the line or something, you know. It happens.
It happens. It's fine. Important that we are here. Finally all together. We already have so many people watching and I'm so excited for today. And we just played our disclaimer. This is Patricia.
Nice.
Fabulous disclaimer. Patricia loved it. She gave us her high five, our approval. Love it.
Very nice.
Love it.
Very nice.
Thank
So
you
Mark,
so much.
introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell us all about you.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Dina and Kim. My name is Mark Carter. I am the founder and CEO of a company called MACH Health. And I am a registered nurse. I have been. This will be my 24th year this year. So it's just been just a wee young pup in the industry, as some would say. And MACH Health is a business designed and focused around reducing burnout, improving retention, and the overall health and well-being of nurses around the world. And it is available in a mobile and a web app in the UK and Australia at the moment. And if people always wonder what does MACH stand for, they go, "Is it space or match or whatever?" And the 4 letters actually stand for family. It actually represents M stands for me, Mark. The A represents my wife, Alison, who was also a nurse who burned out years ago. The C is for my daughter, Charlotte, and the H is for my son, Henry. And it's pink and blue because it's a boy and a girl. And the reason I went with that is because nurses are the largest global healthcare family in the world. And if we don't take care of family, what are we really doing?
Absolutely.
So
And
that's MACH Health.
You do also the Nurse Collective as well. We're going to talk about that soon.
Yeah.
I've got some questions already. Kimberly, do you have some? Do you want to start first?
Girl, no, you go right ahead. You ask away.
Well, I think that so we talked before, and I also been in your podcast already 1 month ago. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
Just flew so quickly, and I really would like to start with your why, because our why is very similar actually. I'll be amazed how you told me about yours, because it's really we can put one on the other, really similar. So I would like to start with your why. Why you do what you do, where it's come from, this why as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no dramas. The why. Why did I start MACH Health, and why is it so important? I guess the thing is, I've been lucky enough to be able, as a nurse, it's enabled me and my wife to kind of travel the world and see healthcare from so many different realms, and it has given us the opportunity to touch so many lives throughout Australia, through Singapore, into China, into the UK, into Africa. That unfortunately I was a guy that burned out in the process doing that. But through that, it gave me a lens to look at the world and say, hold on, we're not surviving. We're actually the opposite. And becoming a father was a real eye opener to the whole thing of, there's going to be one day, and I hope we can be as effective to this as we can. There's going to be one day when my son or my daughter, or God forbid, my wife, or my mum and dad, my brother, or his kids are sitting in a hospital bed. And they're there for not a good reason. And I ask them this question, and I say, guys, do you reckon one day you'll be able to look down the end of the bed and hand on heart say, that nurse is healthy? That nurse has had a good night's sleep. That nurse is feeling good about herself or emotionally happy. The nurse is not physically fatigued, isn't with chronic pain and breaking down. That the nurse has had a good night's sleep. And they go, probably not. Okay, well, the chances of that and then something bad happening just goes through the roof. And the thought of that happening, and it's not because a nurse doesn't care. And I think that's one thing we got off the table. It's not that they're not trying or they don't care, because that's the last thing they ever do. It's the fact that they've just been crushed by a system-induced strain, that the chance of errors goes through the roof. And if that means that someone I care about could be injured or have some missed health care, something missed, like they're deteriorating, it's missed because they're tired of fatigue, and that means I could lose someone I care about, or their quality of life changes and it doesn't need to. It scares the living crap out of me, because that's someone I care deeply about who's in the bed, but it's also, that could be me at the end of the bed providing care. And I could be doing that to someone else's family. And that's the why. Is because if we don't, there's going to be no one there to look after anyone in any sector, no matter how good we think the recruitment processes are going or how good we think we're going to increase workforce planning, which is all a load of BS. At the end of the day, I don't want people being hurt by someone who's trying to deliver care and who loves doing it because they're just exhausted and no one has thought, how can we help? So that's the why. Because I am a nurse, I still clinically practice, and all I'd see is nurses tired every day. And not just tired. When you go, like they've had 5 or 6 days in a row. Anybody would be tired. It's not that. It's just that the parts of them that they thought was once bubbling and fun and exuberant and happy aren't there. So that's the why. And if people can't go, that's real, and go, shit, that fires me up. Because I'm trying not to save the nurse, but I'm thinking all the families that are sitting behind them, we care for them, who adjust to the shift work patterns, who adjust to work in the weekends and miss out on stuff because their mum and dad are working. It's like, it's also for them. Because I can see it in the kids' faces. You can see it in the families and the husbands and the wives are going, I wish my husband or wife was home. Or they're not, they're tired and fatigued at work, and God forbid they make a mistake or miss something.
Right. Or they are home, Mark. Or they are home, but they're not fully checked in because they haven't fully checked
And that's the other one.
From being at work yet. And, you know,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and we bring so much home with us. You know, we don't ever just leave work. It follows us everywhere. And, you know,
it never has a stinging tail.
Yeah, it's like we never tap out. We never fully tap out of that environment. And we do bring it home with us. Absolutely, 100%, all the time.
Yeah,
that goes back to that suitcase. That suitcase.
It's a suitcases people carry everywhere. And, you know, it's okay to bring things home. Like you have these days where something's still, you know, you have a traumatic arrest in a ward, or, you know, you have that person that just got to you. And even healthy, like fully charged people, like that's part of the job. Like people think, oh, you know, you're not going to bring things home. That's part of the job. Human nature touches you in all sorts of ways you can't imagine. However, I think there's bringing stuff home and then carrying stuff home that that should have been left at the door, but you don't have the energy to leave it at the door.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think that's where most people really struggle. Is that sooner or later you just can't let go because you're just too tired, you're too exhausted emotionally, you're not functioning well, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well. Like what happens?
Right.
You're useless to everybody who's important to you, and let alone yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, well, my why is a little bit more drastic than yours, because on top of what you say, I'm scared, but sometimes I envision this future where there's no nurses at all to care for sick patient, which is very more darker than what you described. And I'm sorry a little bit for Kimberly, and I thank you again to be here today because she's living this moment of fear because her mom, well, now she's home, but yes, so this is a very delicate conversation. And I really have so much comment that I think we should share. And we got to maybe understand why this happened from your perspective, from the work that you've done, and you're still carrying, Mark. But should we read the comment before, because we are reading so much?
Yeah, I can just read them off. So Jack K says, "Hi everyone." Kevin Murphy says, "Hello." James Stolnaker, he's here again with us. This is what happens when you eat too much vegemite. I'm not sure, Mark. I think that was pointed towards you.
It's something, yeah.
That's priceless, James. You spelled it right too, mate. Well done.
I don't even know what that is. What is it?
It's a breakfast spread.
Oh yeah, no, yes, it's something that we got in the UK.
Yeah. You have a similar thing. It's you have in the UK. You guys use something else, Marmite or something else. Yeah,
I don't use it. I don't eat it. But yes, I
yeah,
got
I
you
wouldn't
now.
eat Marmite either. It's two countries against each other. The Vegemite Marmite discussion.
So thanks, James, for that. And then Flavia, always nursing is international. Good morning, Anne. Thank you so much for being here again. As always, love her. Jack K. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. So many people popping in today. It's lovely. Thanks again, James. Him and I had a conversation yesterday, and I think we foresee him on our show here eventually. Do we not, Dina? I see him coming. Yeah, so and what we're talking about. So Patricia just says it's marmite in the UK. I'm not sure if I'm
Marmite,
saying
yes.
it's marmite.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll have to get some more clarification on exactly what all that is after the show.
You'll have to have a Google.
But
so James is
and-
already on the conversation. Forced corporate
Yeah.
compassion fatigue. Yeah, that's the truth.
Absolutely. And we're nurses, always bringing work home. We always bring it home. It never gets left at work, for sure. And we go back to the strain and how the nurses are feeling. So my mom told me that her admission was done by a virtual nurse when she got to the room, and her discharge was done by a virtual nurse on TV screen. So that tells you that staffing is slim and there's not enough, and it is meant to alleviate some of the strain on the nurses that are there in person, which I have not experienced that myself or as a witness as of yet. If anybody knows anything about the virtual nursing as far as patients getting that type of interaction, I would love to hear what you have to say about it, and how that affects the strain that Mark's talking about. How does that come back to that? Is it truly alleviating some of that strain? Is it helping, or is it a hindrance? I would love to know what people think about that too, because I think that's interesting. It's an
interesting situation, scenario that's come out for your mum in regards to the admission and discharge process. We've done a fair bit of work on that. There's a lot of positives and negatives to that kind of process and the way they're doing that. One, it's taking, how would you say, essentially a non-pivotal process, the way organizations look at it, and get something we should be able to standardize, and then think of it like they call center it. There's a good way of putting it. We can call center things that can be time consuming, and that's okay. They can be time consuming, but there's no critical clinical things that can happen. Discharge is usually a planning process, admission is usually an admitting process. So they try and find ways to virtually do it so they can possibly do more, and then it becomes a possible cost saving measure. But I think as people look back, there's a lot of research around the virtual hospital and virtual kind of nursing that directly delivers benefits to patient care. And there's some early stuff that says it is benefit. There's also some early stuff that says it actually takes twice as long.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a face-to-face nurse with enough experience can skip through sections, because while you're talking, they're already pre-answering or pre-designing or pre-planning or preempting things that already happened. If someone says, "Oh, I've got some left foot pain in the admission," you already got 10 things firing off. Where a virtual one could be, there's a script, got to answer them. That's the process. And so you've got to go through it again and again and again.
You can miss things also by being virtual. So I am done a program which is under CPD accreditation review at the moment, and it's about AI, climate change, and generational shift. So say about what's the future of nursing will be from now to the 10 years. So I studied 1 year. I've done research 1 year to make sure that I create a good things. And the problem is now that we have this AI hype. They think that AI is magical because it works in other industry, like, for example, content creation, media, etc. So for creating a video, newsletter, or administrative task is look like magical. But when it's go to healthcare system, is actually freeze a little bit. In fact, we are living a winter phase of the AI revolution in healthcare. And what I noticed is that administration, the management, the leadership want to accelerate the AI because want to drop the cost, and also the workforce is already spread so much, and they want to reduce the burden. But the problem is that because healthcare professionals are not really involved yet, the leadership and the engineer that produce the product are
Yeah.
not really aware of what the need is. So they create
Yeah.
this product based on wants, not based on need. And what I'm scared is now that if we don't get involved quickly in the AI as a healthcare professional in general, all of us, we're gonna to create more problem and more resistance, meaning put an AI service where or on a virtual service where it should not be, like for example, discharge.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we
No.
risk to create much more damage actually.
Yeah. No. I'd totally agree with you. Last year we launched at the Digital Health Festival in Melbourne in March last year as part of Amazon Web Services kind of top 100 startups for the year.
Good.
Out of all the 100 startups, there were 2 that were not patient facing, and we were the only one that wasn't AI based. Out of all the majority of the businesses there, everything was AI. AI this, AI scribe, AI tests, AI this. As soon as you put a human interface with that, and you say, okay, that's fantastic. AI is, I think we haven't even touched scratching the surface, not even close to it. I think at the moment we use it for such a tiny amount of things that we forget that actually there's so much learning that needs to happen of how that interface between a human and that happens. And actually the AI is there to help improve standard processes that can be done at nauseum faster, that enables the human to have better impact in those human interactions. That's how I see AI being the most effective. Or it helps understand things faster. It doesn't replace a human. It just can't. And anybody who thinks it can is failing, because AI doesn't have intuition. AI doesn't have feelings. AI doesn't have temperature changes if you're listening to a story and you get those little things that stand on your shoulders or the back of your neck. AI doesn't have the situational awareness, the emotional intelligence that someone who may have dealt with a trauma has. So what we learned there was it's really big at, hey, AI. But a lot of places are actually very, very skeptical because there's so much concern around if it knows too much, what happens?
Europe is that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Australia's the same. Australia's the one that said 16-year-olds can't, anybody less than 16 can't have a YouTube account or social media account. And one of the key reasons that was actually AI. It's not just about protecting kids, it's about the AI that sits behind it and what is it planning to do with young children. So I think there's a lot of positives. And don't worry, we'll use AI in our platform at some point in the future. But all it is to understand better. It's not to replace people. And I think that's where a lot of people's fear comes. It's going to be replaced. Healthcare organizations trying to use technology to alleviate some of the probably human resource stresses they get. Any business would be trying to do that. That's not new. However, where they use it and the outcome they want from it, I think is something that is still very misunderstood.
Yeah.
Or it's not ideally implemented. And the people who create them and implement them haven't been in healthcare.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the challenge. It's like saying, okay, go fly a ship, Mark. Oh, great. I've never built one before, but I can fly the plane. What do the flaps mean? No idea, but I reckon I can give it a go. But I can build stuff, so I can build it. And I think that's one of the challenges. It's always a challenge. Like, tech experts building stuff for health experts building something for health. There's no two worlds combined.
Exactly.
And taking the tech expertise and the real life health expertise and go, that technology won't work. It just doesn't work. And these are the million reasons why, because that doesn't work in real life. That doesn't happen in the clinical world. And if it does, something's wrong. So that shouldn't be happening to begin with. Or the process or the technology we're giving actually slows them down or competes against the million other bits of technology that are there.
So to remain in our topic today, because you talk about a lot of system strain, that the system doesn't help nurses as actually stretches so much, and this AI implementation, until it's fully understood, it will put so much more strain on healthcare professional, because the system want to use it, implement it, but it doesn't really necessarily work. And for example, we see virtual discharge, which is not AI, but can be fully integrated AI in the virtual discharge. So create more fatigue, more stress to healthcare professionals. So we already have this tiny stretch workforce, right?
Mm-hmm.
That with an increase of healthcare demand because of chronic history increasing, because the shift in generation, so many things. Then now we add also AI, because we want to improve, accelerate, but actually this AI is made by people that don't really know the reality of healthcare. So we put so much more stress, and these tools actually get the workflow worse than what already is. So this healthcare professional, we talk about nurses because it's our podcast about, but all in general, we are already stretched, we are already exhausted, we experience fatigue, emotional drain. We have to carry patients they have so many comorbidity, and then we have all these tools that the leadership want to deliver it to us to make our work better, but actually create more difficulty. So how do you think and Kimberly, you go ahead. I just
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, you're fine.
So what do you think the leadership and the system is thinking about, and how should deal with nurses in this sense?
So that's a great question. It's a complicated question.
Yeah.
But I think the way to get into it is, let's strip a ton of stuff back. So let's take technology systems off the table. Let's take programs and processes that are making life. Let's just look at the nurse. And I think this is one of the key things. Let's look at the nurse. Forget everything else, just the nurse. What are they under? Why? What happens and what doesn't happen for them? And this is funnily one of the things why I built the thing we have. Nurses struggle from 4 big health challenges. One, they are under huge physical strain. Up to 65% in some studies show nurses live with some kind of chronic pain or strain as a result of the job during or at the end of their career. So 6.5 out of 10, massive. We would be part of that 6.5 out of the 10. Just statistics why we are them. On average, nurses get less than 6 hours sleep a day prior to a shift, get only 6.5 hours sleep on average on a day off. So that's the average. So on average, most people are getting less what they need every single day, either on duty or off duty, to help them sleep. So that their resetting mechanism is not even high enough to go, we're going to repair, we're going to reset, we're going to give the things your body and your mind needs to just turn itself back to good again. No, don't get enough. The rates of type 2 diabetes, obesity, diet-related challenges, and health outcomes as regards to poor nutrition, oral intake, or lack of, in nurses is well documented. Specifically in females, those rates are a lot higher than men, purely because it's a larger, more female proportionate industry. And the rates of depression, anxiety, stress-related fatigue are higher than 2/3 of the industries in the rest of the world in the first 3 years of employment. So when we look at those and we go, well, how are we going to do this? And we have to take a very pragmatic, common sense approach. You can't change everything on day one, and you're a fool if you try. However, we are habitual creatures. Nurses love structure. They love order. They love things that I can repeat, I can execute, and I can do better and faster every single time. Because if I can, I know the delivery gets better and the person receiving it gets better healthcare. And then I get to put my own emotional touch and provide my own compassion in delivering that, which makes me feel great about myself and about my life. However, we give more to patients than we give to ourselves. There's that old adage, I spend 80% of my life caring for someone else's family than I do my own. That's reality. You spend more emotional energy on someone else's mum or dad than you do on your own, or their kids, or someone else's family. And it's like, what the hell, man? So when I looked at it all, I said, well, okay, the 4 key areas, what happens behind them? So for about 18 months ago, nearly 2 years, I spent about 9 months building something called the Workplace Health Intervention Pathway. I'm a systems thinking kind of guy, very simple. We should have the simplest solution to the largest problems, and we should be able to give it around the world fast. It shouldn't take years and months and decades. We should be able to do this quickly, and that every single person understands that stuff works. I built 2 systems, one for helping prevent the behavioral progression in Alzheimer's, and then we broadened that out to dementias, and we use that across Singapore, Asia, and the UK. We built a platform and a process to help the over 50s in the UK, and we went from a couple hundred users to 12,000 a week. And we had people say, I've come off my type 2 diabetes meds, I no longer need dialysis, I'm sleeping better, my family's better. And we looked at just those 4 key areas. So I did the same for nurses, and why can't we build the same for nurses? So in the physical domains, there's about 11 areas. We fatigue in everything from head and neck injuries all the way down to excessive sitting and standing. And we have no idea we're doing this to ourselves. And the rates of injury and chronic pain fatigue are all in the 65 plus range of percent. This stuff happens to people. And it's like, well, okay, that's pretty bad. In the emotional, you get everything from compassion fatigue, moral injury, stress-induced fatigue. There's about 15 categories. In the nutritional one, there's about 11 different categories. And in sleep, which is actually the one everybody tends to forget about, it's actually the linchpin. You don't sleep, nothing gets better. And so I said, okay, what are the major domains? What are all the subcategories? And what are the non-drug ways? And I mean non-drug ways. No sleeping pills, no LGP-1 inhibitors. What are the sleep ways that we can actually get in front and say we can start to prevent the accumulation of these 4 areas becoming detrimental to the health and well-being of nurses, which in turn gives them their life back, and in turn helps them provide better care, which in turn makes them feel wonderful and balanced themselves and has a fulfilling and excellent career. And it's a really simple thing. And we say, okay, well, let's digitalize it. How can we do that? So we went off, we created 400 pieces of content around every single area that's based in their domain. We have the live classes for people. And it's like, you don't have to do everything. But fundamentally, if you're not checking in with yourself every single day, and you're not saying, how am I doing? How do you even start your day at some kind of line in the sand? You go, well, I don't understand. And it's the simple things we keep refusing to do that doesn't get us moving one step closer to center. Now, people say, oh, you know, what you build is just another app, or it's just... Apps are mechanisms that enable tools to be delivered to people. Websites are just the same thing. However, no tools have been specifically built around a very specific type of individual and said, the cost of you not turning up to work is now getting so big and so hampering to healthcare, we've got to find a way. And it has to be blended into their shifts. It has to be on their terms, on their timing. You can't make them leave work and go, we're going to find this space and you're going to do this in the middle of your shift. Rubbish. You can't do that. You have to think of all the stresses they face while they're on the job, the peak periods of while they're doing it. What times of the day are they experiencing it? Is it on a morning? Is it on a late shift? What's the roles and experiences that a level 2 or a band 2 or a healthcare assistant faces compared to the boss at the top? Because we're all affected by it. And everybody says, oh, you know, the people at the top don't get as affected. Bullshit. They get affected just as bad, just in different ways and at different times because of different reasons. but they're still sitting in their office falling apart. They may be walking through a hallway going, I can't enter another meeting because you know what? I haven't eaten all day. Or I've had some bad family news, but I've got no way to process it because I've got to walk into a meeting about a problem I can't solve because no one's letting me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked at this, I said, what can we bring to people? What can we bring to nurses on their terms and their times? Having walked through all the roles from the bottom to the top and done them, and actually take the tool and still practice clinically and go, do you know what? We're going to get this so personalized so quickly that you feel like you've got me, an RN of 24 years who've worked all around the world in all different areas going, hey, Kim, hey, Dina, it's 8:10 in the morning. Have you had a drink of water? Kidney disease rises by 40% over 10 years if you're not drinking during your shifts.
Yeah.
Now, we all know these things. We all know them, but we still don't do them. Or the one is like, you know, at 10:10, hey, girls, have you been to the toilet? Bet you haven't. It's probably 4.5 hours, 5 hours since you've been to the toilet.
I've got 12 hours without going to the bathroom before.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have time. 12 hours. Holy shit, I haven't been to the bathroom all day.
And, you know, we always have that adage, oh, we haven't had time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mindset. And I think we've got stuck in a mindset in profession of like, we just got to survive. No. The just kind of survive mentality is about to cause why it's almost going to be extinct. And that's also a major problem. Because if we just go, we just need to survive. Who's just surviving? If you just think we're just surviving, then we're very close to not surviving at all.
That's so true, actually.
You actually go, oh, we just got to survive. We're just going to get through the shift. If that's a mentality, then we've got something seriously wrong. Or we've built this as a culture.
Yeah, I want to anchor you that. I don't know if Kimberly wants to say something before.
Go ahead, girl, go ahead.
I feel that I all chatting today, but anyway.
Okay, it's good.
So, and I want to anchor you that because I know that the system has its own responsibility, but I always say that us as a nurses have our own responsibility because we have
100%.
to stop to just try to survive another shift or another month. So just I can't wait my annual leave. I have just to go to my annual leave, you know, to get some rest or some sense of real life or human connection with our family, our friends. And actually, when you are in annual leave, this doesn't really happen.
No.
At least not the first day on a leave. You have to detox yourself from the toxicity of the workplace, of the hard work, everything. So I know you talk about a lot of system and system strain, and this is why you also believe you create this app to help nurses. But I really want to share your opinion about nurses' ownership of their well-being, because I understand the system. To be honest, I don't really think that the system has been created against us necessarily. I think that the system has been created around the early profession who built the system from the very beginning. And so they just bridge everything toward them so they can grow strong. It's not really against us. It's just as...
No, exactly.
You know? So it's not really that the system itself it has something against us, because I think that the system, if we show really ownership and knowledge and intelligence of what we really need and how we can provide and solve the problem, I believe that the system is open to acknowledge and give us space, everything. So what is your thought about our own responsibility on our own well-being?
On our own well-being. Well, I'll jump into that in a second. So your point about the system, and everything I talk around is around system-induced strain. One, because I hate the word burnout because that's the outcome, not the cause.
You're right.
And when I talk about the system, I talk about the environments we work in and the things we have to see and face during our work life that cause our physical, emotional, sleep, or nutritional health to be deteriorated. Now, let's make something really clear. It's not the system's job to keep us healthy. It's not. The system is there to actually look after 6 people. However, I think one of the key things nurses need to understand is if you stop looking to the system for the solution and be the solution yourself, the systems are more than happy to go, you've shown us the example, and it works for all of you, or works for a large proportion of you. Let's put it in permanently. You know, you have to be the example and show the example for things to take effect. Nurses have been great at screaming about patient ratios and patient safety and salaries and that stuff. But everything we argue about is for the patient. Time and time and time and time again. We think we're advocating for ourselves. Not even close.
Yeah, we don't do it.
And our own health well-being is 100% the nurse's responsibility. And if we don't look at it like that, and we think, hey, it's someone else's responsibility, you get the results you get. I don't hand over my own health well-being to Kim and go, Kim, make sure I'm healthy and well. She's like, that's not my bloody job. Well, it's not. I don't say to my boss, it's your job to make me, you know, healthy and well. They're going to go, well, hold on. That's you. It's your responsibility. But also the problem lies in there's never been solutions built for purpose. Buy one, understanding all the tapestries and the idiosyncrasies behind the job, all the things they face, and then allows them to have ownership and go, we can take ownership of this, and it meets us where we need at all levels, not just for one type of nurse, for all types of nurses. And when systems go, hey, this could be available, nurses can be using this, the systems opens their eyes and go, do you reckon we can do this for everyone? Is this replicatable? So I think we can be the greatest asset and the greatest innovators in all of healthcare.
Yeah.
If first and foremost, we actually take care of ourselves or use systems that people are trying to find solutions to go, let's help the nurses first. And we use as an example to roll out to doctors and allied health and physios and wardsmen, and administrative staff and the cooking staff and the cleaning staff, everything that runs healthcare. Nurses have always been the example. We're not an example at the moment because we're looking for other ways to say it's someone else's problem. And it's not.
It's not.
It is not. And I think that's something we're not admitting to ourselves. It's not someone else's problem for us to stay well. The system's job is to look after patients, provide healthcare, whether good or bad. I think we need to understand their job is to provide healthcare, good or bad. It's not there to say, I'm looking after every single problem you got. Jesus, it would never function. It would never function. However, we've never provided an example for them to say, hey guys, we've actually found a way that within the systems, we can actually stay healthy and well. And because of that, here's the return you're going to get in regards to better patient outcomes, possible cost savings. And we all want it. No system's going to go, no thanks. They're going to go, that makes, you've found your problem, you found the issue, you found the solutions you need for it, you've used it, you've tested it, it's working for you, and it can have a great return for us financially, but also health outcome wise for the patients, and even better for our staff. No system turns that down. No system turns it. If it does, it's a very, very silly one because they're all under the same strain. But first and foremost, it's my responsibility to look after my health and well-being, not someone else's. And I think that's something we as nurses have.
It's like we've said over and over, Mark, that when you are taken care of, you get better care. So when you're taken care of by yourself, taking care of yourself and looking out for your health, and actually taking the time to say, hey, I haven't went to the bathroom, or hey, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym today. You know, that's always my outlet. That's always my clearing my headspace is just, putting a good 5-mile walk in, or going to the gym, or doing something like that. It's clearing my headspace. And I don't know if people are realizing that they just have to make that time. They have to take that time for healing, because when you're healing yourself, and a lot of times, we talked last week with Ashley Scott, a lot of our healing is done through writing. So there's so many avenues for healing and becoming a better person, because we can all be better. We can all do better. There's no doubt in my mind of that. But again, like you said, it's not the system's responsibility to take care of us as individuals. And that aspect, we have to be taking care of ourselves. We have to be paying attention so we don't end up with diabetes, so we don't end up obese, so we don't end up with kidney failure. So I think what MACH Health is offering and bringing to the forefront is amazing. It's amazing. And the fact that it's not just all AI, it's truly built from an individual that has all of this and this knowledge and this background, this expertise to the industry to help fix the industry. I mean, this is just, to me, we talk constantly about fixing the system and what's broken. We know it's fractured. We know the foundation is broken. We know that it's broken all the way to the top. But when there's things like this that are brought forward, that are real solutions, like you said, it'd be silly for systems not to jump on board. It'd be silly for them not to take advantage of saving the lives of those within. Because again, we get that it's a business. We know healthcare is a business. But if you're not protecting the people in it, what kind of a business is it? Because it's about taking care of people. But if you're not really taking care of people or the people that are within, it's not a successful business. It's just a business where people are surviving. They're not thriving. They're just surviving.
Yeah, it's when I talk about the systems, and most people see me talk about like systems, and it's to take all the blame off the table, because we get caught in this kind of context with someone's to blame. Yeah, and when you take people out of the situation, you look at it, it gives you a different way of understanding the pieces at play in the mechanism. You don't say, well, that person's fault. That person in the middle has probably been trying their ass off for months, if not years, to affect change in environments and mechanisms that aren't built for that. These things. This is an old industry. Healthcare's been around since like the first time someone needed their bum wiping. So it's been around a while, and it's been built in ways that have sometimes been fantastic, but others that are probably too big to change. And nursing in that fashion has just been caught in some of those positions where that doesn't lead to a really good work environment or work standard or whatever it is. But we look at the people inside and go, well, they're the fault. It's like, no, take them out. Let's look at what's happening around them. Because if you take the person out, they don't burn out as an outcome. If you put a healthy person in, the same result happens. So it's not the person, it's the systems. And to give you an idea of like how substantial things are getting. So kind of around the world, and some countries are better or worse than others, but it's around about 30% of new graduates every year within their first year of qualified nursing leave. Now, if I put that in proportion to like a disease, if we were to say, okay, so 1/3 of the world's nurses leave in their first year, that's the equivalent of global hypertension.
Yeah. Good point.
So 33% of the world has hypertension. That's the significance of this in an industry that isn't really paying attention to what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, in the remaining 2 years after that, that goes from 30% to 50%. That's the equivalent of the world's gum disease. Now, think how big gingivitis and all gum diseases are in the world, and Colgate knows every stat on this. That's the significance if you put in regards to disease prevalence around the world. That's how significant it is.
That's true.
And it's pretty like, Jesus, it's pretty big. It's massive. But the one thing about like when we built this, I think AI is only as good as the people that teach it on real world lived experience,
Exactly.
not theoretical possibilities.
Exactly.
We don't use AI in the platform. Everything that is built in is built by me, by 25 years of experience, me actually still clinically walking the floors. Like I start work in 5.5 hours time. It's 10 to 1 in the morning here. I have a morning shift, and I'll take my platform while it's running live, and I'll change it when I get home. Timing's better. The messaging is better. I'll ask nurses on the floor, do they like this? So we're always evolving to meet the individual at the coalface, not just the registered nurse, the carers, the bosses. You know, what time would you like your 1 minute meditation post a meeting? Most meetings happen at 9:30 to 10:30. They're the first one straight up, or 8:30 to 9:30. So how can we wield in 1 minute? It's real life. And whenever you take something from a nurse, you better give them something back. Because otherwise I think you're being very disingenuous. So every morning we ask a nurse every morning as of a daily check-in. Now, people don't understand the power of something like this, but if you were to ask someone every single day, and there's research around how you're doing every day, the chances their overall health, mental, physical, emotional, their health changes up by about 25% just by asking how you're doing. Now, there's huge campaigns around, are you okay day? It's like, what do you mean the are you okay day? It's are you okay day is every day. And there's no fanfare behind it. It's a genuine question. Like, You've seen it, Dina. You get a prompt every morning at 6 a.m. Hey, Dina, how you doing? How'd you sleep last night? How did you sleep out? How do you feel you ate yesterday? How are you physically feeling? How are you emotionally feeling? 4 questions, take less than 5 seconds to answer, but at least you give you an insight into where you see yourself for the day. By doing that habitually, you can affect health change. Because what are you doing? You're giving the nurse advocacy, you're giving them autonomy, and you're helping them understand their own health literacy. And it's a genuine question from a genuine nurse from a genuine place. It's not a bot or an AI chip or something going, hi, Dina. Hi, Kim. It's me, the plucky nurse from Australia going, hey, guys, how you feeling today? But when we ask you that and you tell us how you're doing, we instantly give you something back. So it's okay. You didn't have the best night's sleep last night. Here's 3 suggestions, which is based into the platform, like here's a meditation, sleep mindfulness video, or here's some music, or here's a wind down mantra, or something. We can go, you didn't sleep well last night? Here's something to try tonight. You didn't eat that well yesterday? Here's 5 recipes you can try this afternoon. Because like you've got to be a give and take. Nurses are really protective individuals, and if they give something, they want something in return. And they want it quite instant. And so everything is based around them still walking around the field doing the job every single day. Systems like to see that level of detail and understanding because it's built by one of their own. Because they understand the industry. And I find it really hard for someone who's not a nurse to tell a nurse what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll go, you don't understand me. And they're right, they don't. I'm not a maternity nurse. I don't understand maternity. I don't. But I know what they go through. Nurses all go through pretty much the same things. They're just faced with different clinical problems depending on their specialities at the time. And some of those degrees can be higher or lesser depending on that specialty. ED, ICUs, mental health can be higher. Sometimes clinical work can be less because you don't deal with sometimes the brunt force of society. Doesn't mean you still don't deal with it. But fundamentally, the nurse's health and well-being starts with them and them alone.
So, Mark, we've talked about this before multiple times, on the Nurse Collective, and the significance of the app to those nurses, myself included, that live alone. We don't have someone checking in on us every day. We don't have that interaction to where somebody is like, hey, how are you doing today? We don't have that. You have your friends and people say, hey, and how what's going on today, those kinds of things. But to have someone to feel like you're truly cared for, you again can realize with the data and with the insight that, hey, thank God for this because no, I didn't eat yesterday. Or thank God for this because I didn't do this yesterday. Or, I really could use some assistance in how to sleep because I personally sleep maybe 2 to 3 hours a night. So it's like, I think what you have to offer is amazing for everyone, single, married, relationship wise, just to have a better foundation, just to rebuild yourself with the things that have not gotten broken, for the things that are strained now because of the environments that we're in continuously. And whether you're at the bedside or you're working, from home remotely, there's still strains. Somehow, some way, there is still a strain. If you are in healthcare, there's strains. There's demands. There's so much that's expected of us as individuals because of what we do, because of our knowledge, because of our expertise. And that's a blessing. And I love the profession and what we're doing. But I feel that what you're offering, just again, how many times have we said, it's so obvious. You have a solution. You have a solution. Why isn't somebody listening? Again, why isn't somebody listening? Why isn't somebody saying, especially here in the US? Come on, people, get on board. Reach out to Mark. Hook up with MACH Health. Consider what we could do to save our systems, to help maybe stop the nursing strikes. Just everything is so obvious. If we just putting it in front of people, the people that have the power to make the decisions, it's like, why aren't you guys listening? There's so many solutions, and everyone has to have a seat at the table. Bring the ideas, bring the collaborative, bring the collective. So many nurses are talking. We're all talking. But it's like, we need to get it to the people that can make the changes. And they're just sitting. They're just sitting and observing. Why? Why are you just sitting and observing? Taking notes? Well, there's plenty of notes by now. I don't know how many notes you want, but
yeah.
Plenty of notes.
Change is tough. Change is tough. And I think we also have to realize that solutions that have been provided have always been reactive.
Thanks,
Cheers, Kevin. And
Sorry.
I think we have to I don't think I understand where we're at before we can ask, why haven't we? And when we can say where we're at is we're at a reactive system that is driven by, EAPs that at their probably initial stages were built with the best intentions, but now are too late, under-focused, don't really help anybody. And if the fact you need to be using an EAP probably means you're at a breaking point, you've already broken. So it's damage limitation. And so when I looked at this, I said, how can we be in front of them preventatively? If people need an EAP, fantastic. But they know probably months in advance they need to access it rather than it's all gone to shit. And now I need it. So, and it's all about changing the mindset and the culture around what we deserve. So, how many wards have you walking into? I still see them every day. You walk in, they get hand over, and everybody's sitting down like everybody's just died. They're sitting down going, no one's going, hey guys, how you doing today? They're never happy. It's all drudgery. And so they take that first experience and take it to the patient.
That's true. Sorry, I would like, there's so many comments that I was not able to pull up, and people also say continue to talk, they have to leave. But anyway, I've got two comments that I think that fit this conversation. One from Kevin that he left. But anyway, I think surviving the shift is one mentality, but the other mentality is ensuring everyone is support, relieved, and adequately given the protected break time. I work with Kevin. He's fantastic. Every time I was in charge, everyone was looked after. And I know that Kevin is one of the rare nurses that's able to do this and take care of. So when Kevin was in charge, he was managing everything, and he make sure that everyone, based on their needs, have the right break. So there are people like this.
There are.
There is good leaders. There is good leaders, Dina. They are out there. They are out there. And we talked about it yesterday. There's a block. They could be trying their damnedest to bring our concerns, to bring the things to the table, and they're being squashed. They're being told, we don't want to hear it. So there are good leaders. I know that. I've experienced that. I know that.
They are rare, though. They are rare. And
they are rare. Especially, yeah.
And really disconnect to what Jack said.
Jack says nurses' greatest reward is the care outcomes, hence the compulsion to pursue it beyond self. It takes a lot of self-awareness to mitigate this. He's right. And Jack and I have just recently connected and having some really good conversations. he brings a lot of insight. If you guys do not follow Jack, I would definitely recommend following Jack. And then Wendy, Wendy, the warrior queen, love her to pieces. Moral injury from not being able to prevent radiogenic harm is dysfunctional systems. Their solutions. Everyone seems shut down, not response able. Absolutely. I mean, we see it all the time. People just, you go numb. You just go numb. You're like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done talking. I've said it till I'm blue in the face and nothing's changing. So what do we do?
I think people need to be examples for others to go, there is a possibility.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I see. What we're trying to do is be that example that people can think they can get around. I've got broad enough shoulders. I've been around long enough. People want to have a crack. It ain't going to stop me. But to give you an idea, the way I see us working for a nurse, say just for 8-hour morning shift. At 6 a.m. is what the system is. At 10 past 6, there's a check-in. 5 seconds to get to see how they feel before their day starts. 6:45, there's a motivational message, and before you even start your shift, telling you you've got value and worth to someone's life that day you're about to probably either help or save. 10 past 7, there's the live class that starts. And this is something that most people are like, we deserve this. No, you should be having this. In other industries, before you start your job, they're doing something to make you feel great about yourself so you can deliver better customer service, better care, better outcomes. Does it happen in healthcare? No.
Yeah, it was I think 1 or 2 episodes ago. I don't understand why there are other industry. They already understood this. And so they make their employer happy so they can have a better outcome in their business, improve their productivity and their revenue. And we don't do it in healthcare. And
we don't.
This makes me crazy.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It is insane. And when you walk into wards and departments and you see them doing their handover, it's like a funeral. Now, I don't think everybody should be up, clapping and cheering and kumbayaing. But you know what? No one's really smiling, or you can see they're not happy. Just generally, they're like just wearing down. Moral injury, fatigue, whatever you want to call it. So what we do is we offer a live class for about 15 minutes, delivered into the workplaces and the wards on their laptops or their mobiles and their treatment rooms. And we've got live experts talking to them, going, hey, it's surgery day today across the hospital. Your back and your neck and your shoulders are going to be absolutely stinging you after 2 hours. Let's do 10 minutes of stretching for everybody. Let's try and physically help you before your day starts. We know what's about to happen. Or it's an ED department. Do you know what? We need to do a lot of more positive motivation, some mindfulness, some meditation. Let's do 15 minutes before the shift starts. Let's get you in the best possible frame of mind, holistically, before you see your first patient. Now, people think, oh, that's crazy. No, it's not. But it enables us to create a culture where it's a us-first approach delivers the best outcomes approach. And then throughout the day, there's 3 toilet reminders, 3 drinking reminders. There's specific content based on your break times, based on research and what the organizations have defined as break times. So instead of you sitting in doom scrolling for 20 minutes, if you can get 20 minutes, there's a 1-minute meditation. There might be a recipe asking you, what are you having for dinner tonight? There could be stretching. There could be some relaxational stuff to just reset you before you go back out on the floor again. We do that at both morning break and lunch break, if you're lucky enough to get 2 breaks. But we're planning to try and get you those 2. And then before the shift finishes, it's like, what are the safety mechanisms you may not have realized you missed? What are the things you haven't done in your safety checks prior to finishing your shift so you can be effective at your handover? So you can leave the clinical mind there, not go, oh, Christ, I forgot that blood pressure. Because we do this all the time, And at the end of the shift, there's a congratulating message. You finished your shift, well done. And it's based on the type of nurse you are and the band you're at, not just a generic happy days you finished your shift. Because we all have different kind of expectations when that happens. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a bunch of recipe suggestions get beamed out. What are you having for dinner? Don't go takeaway. Don't get me wrong, I love a bit of takeaway. I love a bit of Chinese takeaway, but I'd rather make it myself. It's healthy. I know what we put in my body. And then the other big thing is at the end of the day, there's the checkout. or we call the nightly reflection. That's where we ask you one simple question at the end of the day. How did your overall well-being finish? And we make it simple. It's really good or it's not that great. We ask you what shift you're doing tomorrow, what you're working tomorrow, and we give you a space to journal. So more than 3 words, tell us how your day went, or you can write whatever you like. What that tells us is 3 things: how your day started and how it ended and all the things in between. What you're working tomorrow, because the system changes depending on what you're working. So if you're working a day shift today, the systems work like a day shift. If you're working an afternoon, it changes and works as an afternoon. So it talks to you completely differently, and it talks to you at different times. If you're working a night shift, it works completely differently. If a night shift, it's got a "did you get home safe" message. It's a yes or no question. How many times have you got home and go, "Phew, made that one"?
Yeah, many times I was confused. He thinks I'm crazy driver. Holy shit, I can't believe she made it home.
I've had the worst experiences coming home. Hospitals and home in Australia are not close to each other. Or if they are, they still take ages to get home because of traffic. So I would drive on a good day with no traffic, it's an hour trip home. On a bad day driving into the city, I'm looking at 90 minutes plus. And after finishing a shift running the ED department, I drove home. I was living with my mate at the time. I got woken up at about 5:30 in the afternoon. I was still asleep in my car, in my driveway. My mate's knocking on my window. He goes, "Morning." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Little did I realise I had bags of McDonald's in the passenger seat, and I knew I didn't stop and get Macca's on the way home. So subconsciously, absolutely in a whole state, I'd driven out, got takeaway, come back and eaten it, and fallen asleep in the car, in the driveway again. And do you know what my mindset was? Oh, well, better go in, fresh set of scrubs, go back to work. See you, Wendy. You know, and that's so unsafe. It's criminally unsafe, but that's what people do. So what we try and do is we look after them with a holistic and just go, there's a possibility of you making small changes. If we can give a nurse an extra half an hour sleep a day, that's life-changing to them. If they're able to go, I can do this before I go to bed and it gives me an extra half hour, fatigue drops massively. So if they go from 7 to 7.5 hours, the physiological benefits can be huge. If we get them picking one just healthy meal choice a week better, the benefits can be huge. If we get them preventing those physical injuries or getting chronic pain, the benefits are huge. If we can get them understanding their emotional state and how they manage those things over time, the benefits are huge. But it doesn't have to be huge on day one. A habit takes 21 days to develop. We're hoping people kick this in the guts after about 60. They go, I've done 21 days. I've found things that can help me sleep. I found 5 or 10 recipes I love to eat. I found 5 or 6 meditations or positive affirmations that help me get through the day. And there's 10 physical exercise videos here that I do when my back is sore, or my arms are aching, or my legs are tired, or my feet are killing me. And they go, and it was built by one of your own. So he's talking to me, and then I get a lot of positive support. And then he gives us the Nurse Collective on top, which he's trying to make the biggest community in the world of nurses to help nurses help nurses. If that's not an approach to allow systems to go, they're really trying to take care of each other now. We need to find a way to get it in. Then I don't know what we do, because we don't look at this bluntly and say what it's not. Hospitals are not a place for psychological safe spaces. They're not built for that. They're beds and rooms and areas that have high volatility, have huge emotional exposure, and are built for purpose. And every single square inch of that hospital that can be used to either stick a patient or hopefully maybe one day stick another patient, they're going to do. Because it's money.
Yeah, also, they're built for the healthcare of 30, 40 years ago, where people were less in number, where people were more healthy because there were not so much pollution or junk food around. So people were less ill, there's less in numbers, so the healthcare industry was able to provide the care for those in need it. Now there's been this shift in the healthcare need because of the population, because the comorbidity, because of the pollution, so everything is happening. And also the nurses, they are retired because baby boomer, as we have as a patient, we have as a colleague, so they entering the retirement age. So we're losing so much stuff. And I think that what you do with the hub is so clever because, as we know, to build an habit, it takes a few days. But in order to start an habit, you really need to have to reach. So an app is on the fingerprint on the touch. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to access to. So I think this will help so many nurses to build an habit. They don't have to do, I believe, everything on the first shift while using the
No.
first time they have that. But as you said, they can try one things at a time, and over time they're able to build habits but also taking care of themselves.
Yeah, and I learned this when we built our platform for the over 50s in the UK back in 2020, is that you only have to do something small. People can only handle so much stuff. And just turning up is 99% of the battle.
Exactly.
Just turning up. So getting someone to do one thing, just one thing a day, you're really doing well. So the only thing we ask people, just check in with yourself. Just check in. It takes 5 seconds. And then we show you how you're doing from that. And then over time, the penny does drop. And we're trying to change people's health literacy just by, it's a mirror. It's not telling you whether you're healthy or unhealthy. It's a mirror of you that you look at it and say, do you know what? I was really tired this week and my sleep has represented it. Okay, what's here that I could use? I haven't been eating that well. What's here that I could use? I'm physically doing all right. Well, I'd like to keep like that. What's here that I could use? So it's not to say you have to do everything on day one. But if you're not checking in with yourself, I think the chances of making sustainable change don't work, because either you don't want to look at the mirror or you're afraid of what the mirror is going to say. And because of that, you lose in Karma's point, like you lose your identity, and then things start to change drastically from there, really drastically, which is always a problem and a challenge. And for the new generation coming through, the stresses on them are even heavier. Hospitals are war zones. And I use that with the least connotation to war, but the rates of violence, the expectations. A nurse just doesn't deliver care. She's the administrator. She's the pharmacist. She's the speech therapist. She's every other profession before they reaches that profession. So before you speak to a doctor or you need something, you're speaking to the nurse. Before you need a speech therapist, the nurse has done their assessment. Before you speak to the pharmacist, the nurse is probably educated in pharmacology. So it can probably hedge off a lot of those things. So they're so multifaceted that only sooner or later that comes to a grinding halt when they're going, I can teach everybody else about myself, but I have no idea and I can't keep myself healthy. And if we can just save one nurse per ward per year, we can have substantial change to people's lives, because the costs are just huge of losing people. UK spent 3.1 billion last year in the NHS at absentees and nurse burnout. I think it was like 2.2 just for nurses alone. That's 18 million pounds a day. Imagine what you could do with that. And so one of the kind of long-term goals we have is, people always ask us about data. So what's happening with my data? Nothing. And this is one of the beautiful things about it, is the way we look at data is, what is a cohort level group of people doing? So what's the collective sleep patterns of 5,000 nurses rather than the individual? Because there's no big brother in this. There's no, my boss is going to know exactly what I'm doing or how I am exactly feeling. No way. HR will never know. The bosses will go, okay, so what's happening here over time? Well, every single day, we'll be able to give the execs, this is how the state of your staff are as of today, how they see themselves as of today. So You know, when I used to walk and run some hospitals, especially during the afternoons, I go, how's the hospital? They go, oh, it's always about the patients. You have no insight, no idea, no predictability about, okay, so we just had 8 people calling sick for the afternoon. So we're now having to shuffle everything around to keep the hospital running. Do we have any insight what that could be like tomorrow? Or what's the reasons that's like that today? Not the exact, you know, kids are off sick and all that, but what's the generic health and well-being reasons that our staff could be falling off the perch?
That's
Now,
true.
I always thought to myself, if I walked in and said, okay, today at 9 o'clock or whatever is in the morning, I know that 80% of my staff, my nurses, eventually doctors and OTs and all the rest, they've told us they've had less than 6 hours sleep. So I've got a tired workforce today. And on top of that, half of them haven't really eaten that well. And on top of that, 2/3 of them aren't feeling that superly motivated. They're feeling actually a bit stressed and a bit emotionally down. And 95% of them have got some of, like, they're just physically exhausted. What could that look like in a month or 3 months or 6 months or 12 months? But even right now, my mindset has changed from, okay, the hospital's sick to my staff are sick. How can I get in? What supports do I need to put around them? So one, we just don't survive, but we thrive today, and then we can thrive on tomorrow. So the other aspect we look at is, well, how can we take this information and then predict what that picture could look like tomorrow, the next day, the day after, and not on an individual level. And if we do it on an individual level, only for yours eyes only, not for anybody else's, like, it'd be great to go, where you are today, Mark, this is what you might look like in a month. I get to see that. No one else. Because then it helps me affect positive change. But at an organizational level, it goes, hey, we're coming into winter in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's October, and December says we're going to be having an average of 15 people off a shift, you know, in the mornings, the afternoons, and night. What do we do? What could we possibly do?
And I think
That insight's huge.
I think it is. Sorry, I don't have. I
No,
think
you're
this is very important because, as you said, there's no data for workforce. I've been one of the protected data environment for such as health data bank in UK. We go many, and I went there because I'm doing my research for workforce for retention. And I asked for data about retention, sick leave, or well-being in general. If staff nurse has, morbidity, comorbidity, and they didn't have any data of that. And I knew I wanted that data because I know, as you said, how nurses' well-being impact on patient care. And they actually, when I went for registration, for ask a question, etc., the lady who received me said, no, we actually don't have this data. It's a shame because it's true, this will impact for sure patient care. So yeah, so this app will really help to collect data to show to the NHS in UK in this case, because you're rolling your app in UK, but could really help the system to improve, to help nurses to improve their health.
Yeah, and there's kind of a twofold. One, it helps us understand things in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And that's without even putting wearables on top. And we can do that. We just got to flick on the button, but it all comes with time and money and, growth and all the rest. And people think, oh, wearables can save the world. It's like, there's a lot of information in a wearable. There's hundreds and hundreds of data points. And the more you analyze, the more complicated it gets.
Yeah,
but it's also, you think, in reality, what are you trying to understand? And I think that's where most people really struggle, is what are you trying to understand? And then what are you trying to show and teach? Because if I can't understand it, I can't show and teach anybody anything. It's completely useless.
Mm-hmm.
But from that, we'll take sleep as an example. So if we know over a period of time that every single day our staff are turning up and they're telling us they're getting less than 6.5 hours sleep a day, which is detrimental. But we can help them go, okay, we're moving them a little bit further. That means there's a cost saving by understanding this. Let's take a portion of that cost and let's bring the sleep industry to the table and go, do you know what? For a portion of the money you saved, we're talking, it could be like 5% of whatever you saved, we can actually bring in a product that takes that 6.5 and makes it 7 or 8, wherever possible. and we give it to the nurses. And so we're taking money we're saving and bringing in interventions because we now understand the problem.
Exactly.
And go, okay, well, it's sleep month this month. Every nurse, because we found out nurses are struggling in their sleep, or the doctors are not sleeping well. Do you know we've got a sleep pack provided by, Tom's Sleep Company, whatever it is. But you know what? You've got these things that are supported by evidence. You've got this stuff that helps the environment. You've got this for sleep hygiene. And it's a pack like you get on a plane when you're going on an overseas flight. Everybody loves those. Oh, I got eye mask and face gel and all that kind of crap. And the excitement because they're trying to look after me.
Yeah.
Imagine if we brought that to them. But if you don't understand and we don't know the power of the knowledge and the information, we can never go, okay, let's bring a nutritional partner in here. Let's find a way to give nurses healthy meals every single day in the hospital, give them better value coffee at a cheaper price. It enables us to bring the interventions and the industry experts to the table and say, it's not just me trying to change them and help them. It's actually industry's going, there's some real value here. And the organizations and the systems to go, we're actually trying to collectively help our people because we now have a better insight on a larger scale rather than a one-to-one. Plus also on a one-to-one scale, there's always the devil in the detail in some of this stuff. And people will think, is it a tool to help or is it a tool to hinder? This will never be used as a tool to say manage people out. It's meant to be a tool to use to try and keep people in. So that's the other trepidation people have. And it's something we push back on really hard. We've asked multiple times, can we know about my individual staff? And the answer is no. No. If you want to do that, don't want to be involved because you break down individuals' trust because they don't know what you're going to try and use it for. And when one day when something doesn't go right, they're going to go, see, you weren't that healthy. Told you. See you later. We're trying to flip it and say, I haven't been that healthy, and we're trying to make you better so we can deliver better care. You get a better quality of life, and the overall system gets its ultimate benefits it's been wanting for years and years and years. So it's really trying to change the mindset of what we're trying to do by doing something simple every day. The kiss analogy, keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't have to be complicated. But most people are just afraid to start. That's where they are. But there's so many smart nurses around the world. There's so many. There's 3 of us here. There's God knows how many around the world trying something. But we all tend to speak in a silo. We all tend to speak in our little part of the world. However, a collective voice is so powerful. And there's also so many nurses around the world that are looking for help. And you know what they do? They just get lost and I can't find out what I need and I'm just going to give up. So the nurse collective is not a group for group's sake. It's about collaboration, not competition. If you want to compete, go compete somewhere else. There's no financial angles in this stuff. It's if we can take the nurses who are double threats, who are trying to help nurses survive the industry, and the nurses who are struggling, looking for help, and we can bring them together, everybody wins. Everybody wins. The nurse who needs the help gets the help. The nurse who's trying to provide the help gets to provide the help. The patient should win at the end of the day. That means the system wins. It means that individual who's getting the help becomes a better person or gets a better quality of life overall. And that's the fundamental premise of it.
And you got the nurse collective on top of the hub, right? So it's something is different. So Kimberly is very present. Unfortunately, the past month for me was crazy. So I was able to come 2 or 3 times in total. So if Kimberly wants to share her experience with nurse collective and...
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm on it every Wednesday. We do our live on Wednesdays, and it's been really good and beneficial, I think, to not only myself, but I think those who join us and who watch. We talk about things that are uncomfortable because a lot of conversations are uncomfortable, but they must be had. Yeah. And I think we've gotten a lot of insight from those who have joined the collective, or those who comment on the posts and who do get involved. And that's what the collective is. It's a safe place. It's a place where you can get involved. You can, bring your questions, bring your concerns, post freely, talk about things, join the lives. Mark's doing them every Monday with Patricia Temple. and she is amazing. You know, the nurse elder and her wisdom of what she say, Mark, 50 years or something.
60,
50
she said.
60
years.
years, 60.
God, 60 years, and you know, he's had other various speakers as well. Kim English has joined us. Misty Carey will be there next week. He has a couple gentlemen that are joining us next week. I have not met them yet, so I'm not sure who they are exactly, but I will find out. But I will find out. And then Victoria Hines is doing every Friday. Ashley Scott has been on. I mean, there's just this amazing group of individuals that have so much to offer and so much to bring to the table that it's truly a collective. And I tag Mark all the time in a lot of my posts with the Nurse Collective, because that's what we are. It's not a competition. This hierarchy and all this nonsense, it's not what this is. This is where you are collectively working together, where we're all trying to come together and find a solution for things to be better. And with MACH Health and the collective and Nurses Moves and Unapologetically You Collective, I believe that we are all creating a pathway, a roadmap to healthcare becoming what it should be, and to the systems becoming better. And they need to, you can lead by example. It only takes one system to get on board and to be fully invested and involved to see what the change can be. Because if it's all it takes is one, just like it only takes one voice to start a movement, you know, it only takes one. So I believe if one system could take all of this into consideration, what Mark is offering and what could be done here so simply is, if your people are happy, your people are taken care of, your people are fully present, everything changes. Everything changes. And wouldn't it be nice to, like Mark said, you know, you walk in and it's doom gloom and nobody's talking, nobody's smiling, whatever, to have it where everybody is just, and like you said, we're not kumbaya, fuck that. And we're not talking about kumbaya. You know, we're talking about reality here, like, oh yeah, hey, how are you today? Oh, how's it going? Oh, you look great today. I love the hair. I mean, it's just those simple things that we don't see anymore. We don't see those happy conversations, those, hey, I see you, I got you, you know, like this kind of stuff. We don't see that anymore. So I just think that if one system could fully invest and take into consideration what could happen, what could be, and it would be a ripple effect. It truly would be a domino effect, because you'd still be making money, because God, we know it's all about money. You'd still be making money, but you would be having better outcomes, fewer deaths, correct? Fewer medical errors, fewer liabilities, fewer litigations, fewer. There'd be so many fewer bad things and so many much more better things. Does that even make sense?
What that could look like for organizations and healthcare systems, the ripple effect can be huge.
Yeah.
And I was asked the other day, someone said, oh, you know, MACH Health becomes massive and it does really well. I'm like, well, all that does is enable us to do more.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people think you're starting something to make a lot of money. Yeah, everybody has a financial goal. Everybody's got to make bread. Like, I'm not lying. People have to pay bills.
Yeah.
But there is, the way I look at it and seeing some of the things I've seen around the world, there's a lot of the world that does a lot of the majority of care is not recognized, not paid for, not supported at all. And I'm talking about the slums in Soweto, parts of North China, East Africa, you know, parts of Europe that don't have the money, parts of rural communities that don't even know this stuff because it exists, who are holding together a healthcare system like Kim English spoke about, you know, all places that no one thinks about where care is happening. And one of our goals is, when we're big enough, we'll start a charity, and we want to do partnerships with tech companies with all their old devices that probably stuff in landfill and never break down for a million years, and the telecommunication companies who have millions and millions of minutes of data that are unused or unpaid for or not utilized, and go, hey guys, we'll put the app free on these old tablets if you can give us the data, and we can give all these tablets to the parts of the world, just this alone, for they can have it for free. And the reason I say that is because if those places stop caring and stop providing the generic care, even though they're not nurses, every hospital in the country would come to a grinding halt in 1 minute. Imagine all those people suddenly turned up to hospitals around the world. The whole system would implode. There's more people receiving unregulated, unsupported, unpaid care around the world than there is 3 times a year in hospitals around the world. Now, to give you an idea, I went through a township in Port Elizabeth in South Africa a couple of years ago, and there's a community, a township of 450,000 people, has one hospital. It's a self-run hospital. So there's care being provided to 450,000 people by someone or some people. They're probably not being paid, but they're doing it because it's part of the community, and they're having to take all the stress and all the worries and concerns. What if they said, "Oh, stuff it, go to the real hospital now"? They'd shit their pants. They'd be like, "What do we do? Where do these people come from?" So that is to try and reward a lot of the world that's doing lifting that it shouldn't be having to do, but it's doing it. So there's a big social mission. There's also there's a financial one, but by achieving the financial one, we can do more of the social. By doing more of the social, we can do more of the financial. And I hope it's the legacy I can leave. But regardless of all that, if I can get the nurse at the end of the bed to be holistically healthy, as soon as I possibly can, there's 29 million nurses and I want to hit all of them within 5 years, so I'm not mucking around, is that I can rest easy knowing that if my family turns up at a hospital, they're going to get the care they need and walk out of there in one piece.
Right.
And that means many other families around the world can feel that exact kind of
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's a pretty good goal to shoot for. Me personally,
Amen.
people might sound crazy, but I don't care. That's what I'm going for. And we think we have a solution that can be part of the change. It's not the only solution. There's a lot of things that need to change to help nursing. But I think we have an option here to be maybe that shining light for others to go, yes, we can. They always say the first one to run through the walls that gets the dirtiest. It's like, well, I've run through plenty of walls first. I'm used to it by now. But this is the wall we have to smash down to help. And you see a lot of stuff in media around who's to blame and management and all the rest. And we also have to realize that at some point, they were starting out as a nurse themselves. They started as a carer. They may have started as a LPN or a registered nurse or whatever, and they've migrated through. But the scars they carry along that process, they haven't left.
Right.
They still have the moral injuries of something they may have experienced. So they still have the tics, they have the traits, they have the needs, they have the wants. They want to feel cared for and protected while they're trying to care and protect. Who's thinking about them? So when we look at it at all levels. Because I've been at the top and I can tell you the stresses are phenomenal. They are absolutely,
it is. Yeah.
Like, you do not sleep because you've got a million things running on in your mind. And everyone is mission critical every single day. And you never please anyone.
Yeah.
It's like it's a thankless job and everybody hates you and they think you're not doing enough, where you're literally trying to do everything you can.
Right.
So they're, you've probably seen the post yesterday about the Managers series that's coming out. Like, the impact on these guys is just as big, if not worse, sometimes when we really drill into it. So what do they get? They offer stuff to staff, but they don't take care of themselves. That's madness. They're just as important. So,
well, you saw my post yesterday, extraction to restoration and the levels of it. It affects everybody from the foundation all the way to the top. And it would just be, if we could close out anything with today from my takeaway and what I'm feeling from this conversation today, which I feel was absolutely amazing. And Mark, it's been a privilege having you here. And I truly, I will always support you. And I believe in MACH Health and the Nurse Collective and this collaboration so much. And I feel that it is something that can save this profession, from the inside out, as you said. But if to take anything away from this, just be kind, people. Just be kind. Just look to your look to your people, look to your patients, and just be kind. just say a kind word. And like Mark said, how are you today? Just that one question goes so far for anybody and everybody. They feel seen, they feel heard. It only takes 1 minute to say, hey, how are you today? Are you coming in today? Do you need anything? I mean, it's so easy. So easy to get it. It gets forgotten. It gets forgotten. So that's my takeaway from today. I have loved this time with you, and Dina, always,
Thank you.
always.
Thanks, Kim. It's been great to come
Really.
in. I appreciate you having me on, Dina. The work you do is amazing, and I hope this is probably one of many collaborations we can do in the future, especially as we grow into the UK. And if I can give anybody a takeaway, is that just start. Please just start trying to look after yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There's more people in your life depending on you than the ones you turn up and work for. There are so many more people that are reliant on you as an individual than the ones you turn up and care for. And if you don't look after yourself, you're doing them serious harm. You're doing serious harm to yourself, and it doesn't have to be difficult. If you're a nurse in the UK, find me. Reach out. Jump on the app. There's limited spots because there's so many people trying to talk to me at the moment. We have a pilot running with a hospital in the NHS. Like, there is a chance for change here. And all you got to do is just try. And there's enough people like the Dinas and the Kims of the world who are willing to dig in and help. Just start and try. And just remember, there's a ton of colleagues and friends out there you never knew you're about to meet that can be positive influences on your world and your life if you just say hello.
And if I can say my take home from this conversation, beautiful conversation, is that don't blame others. Start to look in yourself, start to sit down, reflect what you can improve by yourself and how you can start to take care of yourself. You have to do for your loved one. You have to do for the future generation. You have to do first for yourself. Because you cannot take anything from, you can pour anything from an empty cup, right? It's so cliche, but it's just true. So don't blame other. I know there's so many layer or problem and things the system has, so it's not necessarily bid against you. But if you don't do anything about it, you can blame others. So Mark, I think it's been a beautiful conversation, and I think we can continue for I don't know how long, but we're already nearly 2 hours in, and we have
it's 2 a.m. here. I'm gonna get up in a few hours and go to work.
Yeah,
so probably,
exactly. It's night on your side, and I will continue to talk with you so long, but we have to close. But anyway, this conversation are amazing. We continue to do it. Kimberly, it's an honor to have you as my host. I love you so much.
I love you too, girl. I love you too.
Thanks.
You guys have a wonderful day. Mark, go to bed. Go to bed. We're talking about rest and sleep. Go to bed.
I know. I don't do this every day.
Okay. Thank you very much, all of you, for tuning in. We have massive number of comments. We couldn't read all of them. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll try to answer to the comment once we finish, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Guys.
Cheers.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Bye, Mark.
See you guys.